Kind of sad to say, when I came here, as far as renewable energy, which is our original charter, we had almost none. And so we had some photovoltaics on golf carts, and Wea had a photovoltaic system up, and the Gateway had a photovoltaic, but really very paltry. So my charter was to turn as green as possible in renewable energy, and we set a date of 2012 because we didn't want 2050 or 2030 or something where everyone's dead and isn't accountable for. In 2012, I think it's like the Mayan year that the world destructs, so we're just hedging our bets there. That we get it done or we die. Or we get it done and we die. This is what we exported in energy, from importing barrels of oil. And so $1 billion on in Hawaii County, $7 billion for the whole state.
Wait, can you say that again?
This is what we exported, by purchasing barrels of oil outside of Hawaii. So we exported $1 billion just on the Big Island alone.
Worth of energy.
We bought energy and we paid $1 billion. And the thought with building our own energy and renewable here is to keep that money and put it back into the economy. So if Guy comes up with a great idea for converting engines to hydrogen, and we crack the hydrogen out of the geothermal, and we run all our cars on hydrogen, we're keeping the money here. At first it's an expensive model, but as you create jobs, as people are better educated, we all share in this $1 billion, it becomes magnified. For all the state of Hawaii, it was $7 billion last year. So the thought with the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative is let's keep as much as that home and develop jobs and a good life. This is just to say that the supply of oil has peaked. Now, we're in a low right now, and a lot of people think it's going to stay low, so they're buying SUVs again, and I have a big truck, and all that stuff. But the truth is, and I worked for an oil analyst firm in Houston, which really was hard work, and it was also hot. But the truth is, the oil supply has probably peaked. And what's happening now is no investment in new drilling is happening. So you got to look at what they're doing today to predict what the prices are 7 years from now. There will probably be an oil shortage again. Right now there's a surplus, and they're keeping the oil in tankers as storage, waiting for the prices to go up. So at the last oil and gas meeting, which are in Houston, where the guys come in the fancy suits and the 30-year-old girlfriends and eat big steaks and smoke cigars and have meetings. I used to go to those, and I'm like, wow, the oil's doing great. But they're talking about a crisis right now. They're like, if there's an oil crisis, like the prices are low. So when we say oil crisis, it doesn't mean oil crisis to Saudi Arabia and the oil barons. And oil is not a bad thing. Oil, you can think about oil as saving the whales. Oil is a good energy carrier. We'll always have it around, but certainly it will be expensive. We have the highest solar insolation, which is the highest solar intensity on any coastal place in the United States. Rod could tell you why it's not the highest solar because of the bog and other things that mitigate that, but it is, before the volcano was active again, we did have the highest solar insolation intensity in the coastal U.S. We have the abundant cold from the deep sea water, and the surface water, 80-degree surface water is pretty high. That's a big energy. When you heat up water to 80 degrees, you've got a lot of energy in there. I mean, that's why hurricanes form even stronger when there's a higher temperature on the surface of the water. That's lots of energy. We have the land. We have the West Hawaii need. And the majority of power is transmitted from the Hilo side, or the east side, and transmission losses can be as high as 20%. So when you build energy right where you're using it, you don't have that. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get fast-track permitting, economic incentives to be here, and also TMK. If you know about TMKs, you can't cross TMKs with energy. So we want a TMK-free area where if I produce energy here, I can send it to the abalone farm. That's a PUC rule. Don't cross TMKs. And this is what, this as well is what my vision of NELHA looks like with a 1 megawatt OTEC plant, SOPAGs up and running, a hydrogen project here, renewable fuel station here, which could be anything from biodiesel diesel from algae to electric cars to hydrogen. This waste-to-energy plant is, we don't know if that's going to go through. The environmentalists have a lot of problems with it. But the seawater air conditioning to the airport is already in their master plan, so we're going to, when they build their new terminal, we're going to propose seawater air conditioning. The algae to biofuels project is here. Sole focus, Rod can talk more about that. He wants to put more focusers out here, and I think he's in a fight to do that. W2 Energy is a way of harnessing very low velocity wind, like a biplane wing, oscillating like that. And then I have an RFP out for building as much solar as I can on 80 acres. So this is kind of what my vision looks like of NELHA, and it surrounds, no aquaculture tenants have to leave. The idea is to produce renewable energy, but one step further, cheaper than HELCO. So at 45 cents per kilowatt hour, any developer from the mainland worth their salt should be able to hit a number below that. Another idea, one I'm working on pretty hard, is a microgrid, which is a place to test different renewable energies, plug it into the grid, see how it interacts. An OTEC interacts with solar, a wind wing interacting with solar thermal. Microgrids are a place to test what an island will see with lots of renewables on it. Now you may know that this island leads the U.S. with the most renewable electrons by far. So on any given day we have 30 to 60% renewable energy going around the grid. So you should be proud of that. The thing maybe we shouldn't be proud of is the cost is still high. Maybe the contract struck with Puna Geothermal was not the right contract, so we need to be smarter about how we get cheaper electricity out of these renewable plants.